Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is this video finds you. It's your boy Jay here, and today we are going to be talking more about the Scarlet Forest, right? So when this trailer dropped, it was Gamescom time, and we got the most gameplay we've ever had. So we kind of just skirted over, the whole Scarlet Forest trailer. I mean, I reacted to it, and talked about what I saw, but I've had more time to really think about, like, hey, we got another locale on our hands, right? Even though all the gameplay we got at Gamescom was of the Windswept Plains, it was still dope, but now that that's over, right, and Gamescom is behind us, I'm thinking a bit more about the Scarlet Forest and what it could mean for the game as a whole, and what could possibly be going on here, right? So let's dive in. I like that we got shown a new map, but we didn't get shown the special condition of the map, right? Like in the Windswept Plains, you get the inclemency, you get the fallow, right? So that's like the sandstorm with the lightning, and then Raid Owl shows up, you know what I'm saying? But here, boom, we're here at the Scarlet Forest, and we just know that it exists, and it's red, and we got La Barina, right? Which is cool, but my question is, or at least they left the door open to speculation, which is something I want to see you guys comment down below about. Tell me what you guys think the weather condition is going to be for the forest, because why is the forest scarlet? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we think it's just going to be rain? Like, how is the environment going to change? You know what I'm saying? But it could just be rain, right? And maybe the waters of the Scarlet Forest get maybe a little bit higher, so your movement speed is affected, and maybe the current of the water becomes as such where it rushes so much that it starts to move your hunter out of position a little bit, right? Which gives us a reason to use all of the micro spacing tools and the focus mode to keep the monster in our sight, right? To adjust to what the monster's doing while we're being pushed by that current, right? So that when the weather period starts, it really has an effect on the hunter. It really is like, oh, okay, this weather's happening, I gotta adjust to it, I gotta deal with it. And in this game, we have tools like the focus mode and things like the little bit of micro spacing that we talked about earlier, where sword and shield can kind of strafe left and right with it. A lot of moves like Lance with the poking, they can do a little step in between every poke. So the hunters have way more tools now than they ever had before. Also, great sword with the focus mode, they can charge and then they can spin around. So I'm looking for them to play with that idea, like, all right, the rain is happening in the Scarlet Forest, it's a bit more flooded than usual, and now there's a heavier current pushing your hunter around while you hunt. So you got to really use focus mode and the spacing tools we gave you to land your hits, right? So it could just be regular ass rain like real life, which is fine, which is cool, right? It sounds boring out loud, but hey, it could be cool. But also, it's the Scarlet Forest. So why is the forest scarlet? Like, why is it red? Like, is it red because La Barina is here and it's so prolific in the forest that it's turned all the water red, right? Could be that, right? Because when you look at the nest of La Barina, everything's red, and it's red, and the rose on its butt is red. Like, okay, maybe it's red because of La Barina and its effect on the environment. That's cool. But what if, hear me out, I know it's crazy, but what if, yes, it's still rain that happens in the Scarlet Forest, but maybe there's like a hint of dragon element that's in the rain as well, right? I mean, it sounds kind of outlandish, but this is also the same series that has a jet dragon that uses dragon energy to propulse itself around to the stratosphere. Valstrax lovers, holla if you hear me. But what if there's like a little bit of dragon element in the rain, and during the rain period, maybe we get a meter that builds up slowly over time, like the frenzy virus, and if you don't pop no berries and manage it, if you let the bar fill up, boom, you got dragon blight, and now your elemental weapons don't work as well. So then, I'm not sure if La Barina is the apex of this region, probably not, but let's say the apex of this region is heavily weak to elemental weapons, and it only shows up during the dragon rain, you feel me? So now you have to manage and pay attention to this bar that's constantly filling because you're being covered by the dragon rain while you're trying to hunt down this apex monster that's weak to elemental attacks, right? And maybe during the dragon rain or whatever, maybe more nullberries will bloom in the forest because that's just how they respond to the rain, and you can grab them with your hook slinger, blah 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 blah, right? The point of the game, it seems, right, from what we've seen, is that the environment will change every time the weather changes. So yeah, I mean, that would be a really cool way to tie all of this kind of together, you know what I'm saying? Like, the apex is hard because you got to manage this new element because the weather shows up, and what he's most affected by is what you're being nerfed via the weather. I don't know, it just sounded really good in my head. I want to get this idea out, and yeah, just let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments down below, and speculate, what do you guys think the possible weather conditions are going to be for the Scarlet Forest? Another thing that the existence of the Scarlet Forest has me wondering about is just how seamless is the entire map going to be, right? Because if you look on the website says, following the river found in the Windswept Plains will lead you to the verdant Scarlet Forest with its towering trees and abundant water. As you take your first steps here on your journey, your eyes are drawn to a particular red colored water found on the forest floor. Cool, right? What this is telling me is that these locales are connected via this river, right? And I'm wondering, is it completely open, seamless? Like you could just run from the Windswept Plains to the Scarlet Forest? Is there gonna be like a small little barrier and maybe a tiny loading screen in between? And then also we see a Doshaguma in this trailer showing off the Scarlet Forest. So I'm wondering if there are going to be some monsters on the map where the hunt will take you to different locales, right? Because we know Doshaguma's in the Windswept Plains. So what if you start fighting a Doshaguma in the Windswept Plains? It runs away from you. Can you follow it to the Scarlet Forest and continue the hunt there and end the hunt in the Scarlet Forest despite the hunt starting in the Windswept Plains, or vice versa? You find the Doshaguma in the Scarlet Forest, you start whooping its ass, it runs away to the Windswept Plains, you finish the hunt in the Windswept Plains. And then also that brings up the topic of invaders, right? Are we going to be able to follow invaders throughout this entire giant seamless map? And even if it is kind of a little loading screen, I think they could, be cutesy with it and have it harken back to old school Monster Hunter where, we had loading zones on every map. Now, each map is 2 to 3 times the size of the maps we've had in Monster Hunter World. So it could be like a tiny little loading screen that kind of harkens back to old school MH as you switch between zones, but you can still track a monster between zones, right? Like I did see somewhere that paintballs still exist. So maybe when a monster leaves a locale, it might leave a locale and go to a different one and be the same exact monster that you were fighting before, right? So, I mean, you could imagine something like a Deviljho chasing you out of the Scarlet Forest into the Windswept Plains, and then maybe to the, topsy-turvy tundra to the north of the Windswept Plains. I'm just saying shit, but you get the idea, right? It makes me think like, are we gonna be able to fight a monster throughout different maps? Right, which is something I don't think we've ever had before, right? Like you can fight, a Valstrax, a Vajang, a Deviljho on every map, but you've never chased a monster out of one map or locale to another one. And it's curious that we see Doshaguma in both, which got me thinking like, is that something that's possible? Are we gonna be able to start a fight in one locale and chase it out of another locale, and what that's gonna look like? How is that gonna be? That's got me curious, and that's got my brain thinking. So yeah, drop your comments down below, join in on the discussion on any of the topics that you've seen today here. What do you think the weather condition for the Scarlet Forest is like, and how do you think the interconnected maps are going to work? Do you think it's going to be totally seamless? Do you think there's going to be maybe a tiny loading screen in between maps? Especially those of you who played the Gamescom demo. I plan on replying to every comment at least once that hits this video. So yeah, if you have the Gamescom experience, let me know. Hey, do you think completely seamless locales are possible, or did you get the idea that like, hey, maybe each locale needs its own loading screen? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, people, happy hunting. Peace.